Hey guys, I know what you're going to say. Girl, this video took a long time for you to get out. It did. Every time I was like, okay, I need to sit down and do this. But then again, I want to get this out to them. And I know how long it takes me to edit stuff down. And this video is just literally me just sitting down talking. So we are here. I'm going to talk about my favorite episodes from Star Trek, the original series. I'm also going to get into a few other things as well in this video. It's not going to be super long, but I did want to get this done for y'all. So just very quickly, if you are watching and you have military affiliation, I feel like I should do this every time. It's so a part of my channel. Thank you guys so much for your service. I know this isn't a reaction video, but it's still a video that y'all are going to see. So if you guys see me looking over here, it's because I have some notes typed up because I didn't want to forget anything. I was originally going to do my top 5 favorite episodes, but a lot of folks requested a top 10, and I was just kind of like, y'all do realize that's like picking your favorite child, right? You're like your top 10 favorite kids, but I figured why not? I think that's why it took me so long also to do this, because I kept thinking to myself, that's hard for me, but I think I have a pretty good list. The first 2 episodes are actually tied for first place. And then everything else, it's not, don't get too caught up in where everything's placed. It's not, from there on, it's really not that serious. So for me, my top 2 favorite episodes are The City on the Edge of Forever and The Doomsday Machine. Out of all the episodes of Star Trek, there's 2 episodes that really made me feel very strong emotions. One of the episodes made it into my top 10 favorite episodes, whereas the other one, it doesn't really come close to being even, not really a favorite. It's an important episode, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. If you've watched everything, you're going to know which one I'm talking about, if you've been paying attention. So the Doomsday Machine, that episode stressed me out to no end, but it's so memorable. And I don't want to reiterate too much of what I've said in past videos about, how I felt about each episode, but that one in particular did suspense extremely well. And oh my gosh, it's literally such a good episode. And The City on the Edge of Forever, that in itself just, it was so good because I kept wondering, is she gonna live? Is she meant to die? It's one of those situations where I was just like, I don't know which way this is gonna go, but I just hope everything works out in the end. And being able to go back in time like that was really cool. And I know a lot of people didn't watch the animated series, or even if you did, you probably just didn't care for it too much. But for me, I love that we got the episode in there where we got to see the time portal. I'm probably gonna, and that's something I want to say very quickly. If I mispronounce something or if I get something slightly off, please forgive me. Again, still new. But getting to see again in the animated series where Spock had to go back in time and help his younger self, I love that they were able to bring that back. So those 2 are definitely my top 2 favorites out of the entire original series. Now let's get into, again, do not take this order as my official because there's certain ones where I'm just kind of like, that one probably could go above these, and that one could probably come down a little bit. So I'm just going to address one particular episode that I know is an absolute fan favorite. We're just going to get this one out of the way. Balance of Terror. I had to rewatch that one because when I initially watched it, I didn't catch the historical significance of why this particular episode is a fan favorite, because of the time period. And that's something that you guys kept reminding me of throughout my Star Trek journey, which I do appreciate. Remember the time period in which Star Trek came out. So I wasn't viewing it through that particular type of a lens. I'm viewing this from a 2024, well, back, in 2023 when I started, type of a mindset. So being able to go back and rewatch that, I can understand now why that was so exciting for you guys. So with that one, I really stopped and I thought about it and I was like, you know what? This really is a good episode. Plus, we got to see Mark. And I'm going to talk about him a little bit later too, because someone pointed out to me, a few of y'all did actually, that he played a Vulcan, a Romulan, and a Klingon. And I was like, now that is a well-rounded man. Okay, that is a man that you can put him into something and he is going to command that role. And he did fabulous. You guys know I love seeing him on screen. So yes, Balance of Terror is on the list. It is, because I feel like if I wait too long to mention that one, someone's going to say something. Mirror, Mirror. Y'all know I loved that episode. Uhura? Y'all know that's my girl. The abs, the outfit, the attitude, the presence was fabulous. And then getting to see everybody like angry and then they're like alter ego-ness, it was so good. I absolutely adored that episode. And I know I mentioned, if memory serves me correctly, in that particular episode when I did my review, I was just kind of like, I kind of want to see them do this more. This is fun. Next, let's see. Amok Time. Wonderful. Because that episode, I remember feeling so confused and a little baffled because I just kept thinking, what's wrong with Mr. Spock? Like, what the heck is going on with him? And then you find out what it is and you're just like, oh, well, I'm glad that we as humans, I'm glad it's not that intense. But the highlight for me in that one probably would be the logic that she had and her reasoning. And I sat back and I said, wait a minute, I was wrong about you. You really thought this through. And it's like, yes, she did. She's a Vulcan, just like Spock. Of course she thought this through. So that was a really good episode as well. Space Seed. Khan. How can we forget Khan? You can't forget Khan. I don't care who you are. Even when I'm in my 70s, 80s, 90s, and there are the youth are watching Star Trek for the very first time, and I'm just like, wait till y'all meet Khan. Yeah, wait till you get to the film The Wrath of Khan too. Y'all aren't ready for that yet. You're not ready for it. When I think of Star Trek, especially characters that really made an impact other than the original cast, he's one of them. Very memorable. Delivers his lines excellently. Beautifully delivers his lines. In a way, I kind of wish we got a little bit more with him. But that's something I'm going to get into a little later too, because a question I was asked, someone asked me if I could talk about it in this video, was what are some things in the original series you would like to have seen happen? So, but I'm probably going to forget to mention this, so let me just say it right now. I honestly could have used a few more episodes with Khan, actually. I wouldn't have been upset about that. Next, The Trouble with Tribbles. I know that might be a little bit like, Courtney, really? Because so many folks were telling me that they don't care for those stinking tribbles. But you want to know something? I like them. And if I were a part of this Star Trek universe, I would have one. Yes, you would see me walking around with my tribble, and we would be making sure that operations are done properly on the Enterprise. We surely would be. So I loved it. And the character Cyrano Jones, I liked him. He was funny to me. Very funny. Oh, speaking of funny characters and characters that I loved, as I finish up this list, you guys are probably going to notice that I don't mention a single episode because this person was in 2 episodes. Neither episode is on this list. If you know, you know. I'm going to mention that in a moment. Let's see. The Corbomite Maneuver. I say Corbomite so weird. I'm so sorry. Because sometimes I was like, oh yeah, carbonite, carbamite, carbon. No, it's not carb. But that episode, the way that Captain Kirk was able to just bluff like that. Because I kept thinking, how the heck are we going to get out of this? And the way that he did that, and meeting Baylock, that was a shock. I was not expecting it at all. Only because, so here's the thing. Obviously, the puppet that he had in place of him, its mouth wasn't moving. Like, I do remember I caught that, but seeing Baylock, I was not mentally prepared for that. And I'm sure y'all weren't either. That twist was actually quite entertaining for me. So that's why that particular episode is on the list. The Galileo 7. Spock was so strict, but I understood what, like, it was just, he was in command, and I know things didn't go so well in that particular episode. It really didn't go well in that episode. But, and maybe, yeah, there's been a few episodes in Star Trek where I did get a little frustrated with Spock because of his, not necessarily his logic, but just, he was a little too strict sometimes. And it made me go, wait, what's happening? What is going on? But that particular episode, I understood why he was so strict, even though it kind of was a little like, whoa, you know what I mean? Obviously them wanting to bury their dead, and it's like, we got to get up out of here. It's just, it was one of those episodes where it really made you think, and yeah, there was a lot of conflict, but things happen and you just gotta grin and bear it, and we just gotta do our best. So the last one on the list, and again, it's last on the list not because necessarily it's number 10. It's, again, there's something about all of these that I just loved so much, and that's actually the episode Court Martial. Because Court Martial did something in it that I was not mentally prepared for. I was not expecting. They were able to show what happened, even though it was manipulated. Sorry, I just wanted to double check one thing. So yes, I was correct. I do remember this correctly. Character's name was Finney. He manipulated the computer. Obviously, it was like Captain Kirk's word against a computer's word. That episode, I love that detail of being able to watch back what was happening on the Enterprise. That was actually really cool, because I had no idea they were able to do that up until that point. And I do have an episode on here that's like an honorable mention. And for the life of me, I feel like they pronounce this differently than the way I'm about to say it. It's either Journey to Babel or Journey to Babel. The episode where we get to meet Spock's parents for the first time, and then we get to see the different members of the Federation, and McCoy has to do surgery on Spock's dad. We learn about the teddy bear, which is so cute because we actually got to see the teddy bear in the animated series. For me, with that episode, especially getting to see how his parents interact with each other, that's something that I feel like I was the most curious about. Like, how does that work? I mean, look, as much as I love the Vulcans, I don't know if I could actually be married to one. Because I like to think I'm a very analytical, logical, I look at things differently type of a person. But Vulcans take it to a different level. And I'm still human. I don't know if I'd be able to. So kudos to her for being able to do all of that. All right, I am only going to mention 2 more episodes, but I'm going to only mention them for particular reasons. And those are going to be Plato's stepchildren. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you caught on to the fact that that's the episode that made me very uncomfortable, good for you. And also, Let That Be Your Last Battlefield. These 2 episodes in particular, they just made me feel a lot of emotions. Plato's Stepchildren made me very uncomfortable, whereas, let me hold on, I gotta look at it again. Let That Be Your Last Battlefield made me very sad. So, obviously, with Plato's Stepchildren, Alexander was the highlight of that episode. Loved, love, love, love that character. But them forcing, you know, Nurse Chapel and Mr. Spock to kiss, and then forcing Captain Kirk and Lieutenant Uhura to kiss, I was just like, because y'all know I talk about consent so much, and I just was like, this just makes me sick to my stomach. So, yeah, I just, no. And then another thing too with Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, and obviously that's the episode where you have the two men, well, aliens, obviously. One with half his face being black, the other half being white, and then it switched. And you're just looking at them like, what? And it's a reflection of how silly humans are when it comes to judging people by how much melanin you have in your skin. Like, I said this in one episode. I might have said it in a couple, but I definitely said it in one, that you're either melanated or you're melanemic. And we are more alike than people try to divide us and separate us. You know, I could really get into this and talk about this for a very long time, but it's just one of those things that just frustrates me to no end, that even still in 2024, we're still dealing with this. I understand why. I understand the historical reasons why we're here and why we continue to do it as a people, but it's just something where I'm just like, stop the plan and let me off. It's just one of those things. Obviously, I know you guys caught it. I didn't mention a single episode where Mud is in it because I love the character. It's just those particular episodes were good. It's just they didn't make my top 10 or really even an honorable mention. I just, that's just me. I very much enjoyed the character, but yeah, that's all I got for that one. The Squire of Gothas, very memorable, and then getting to see him later on as a Klingon. And The Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah, that was good. And with that particular episode, I love the fight scene. And I love the moment where Captain Kirk talked to Scotty. Like, what started the fight? And, I'm sure Captain Kirk would have been like perfectly fine with, oh, they insulted me. This is why you threw a punch. No, they insulted the Enterprise. And it's just like, that's what started it? That was a very memorable episode, like I keep saying. Again, the character of Alexander, very, very memorable. And obviously there's others here and there, yes, but those are the ones that really just stood out to me. And of course, Mark. Y'all know I love Mark. I already mentioned him earlier, so I feel like I don't have to say it again. I am so mad at myself. I'm going to plug this in somewhere in this video. I literally just finished the video and I realized I did not add this in. Someone asked me to bring this up. What are some things in the original series that I wish I could have seen? I'm going to make this super, super quick. Number 1, Lieutenant Uhura, okay, taking full command. Like, when I say full command, this is what I'm talking about. All right, let's get into it. Captain's log, stardate. Like, I needed her to start the episode. I needed her to be in charge and command, all right? In the animated series, we got an episode where she was, the men, we lost the men. And she and Nurse Chapel, they had to do what needed to be done, okay? I would have loved to have seen, I don't know, something along the lines of, let's just come up with some type of a scenario. Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Dr. McCoy, Scotty, Mr. Sulu, all of them gone. Just in sick bay. Like, sick bay to the point where Nurse Chapel has to take over, okay? Because it's like Dr. McCoy completely, out. Something weird has happened, and we got to try and figure out. I know this seems so recycled, but bear with me. we just have to try and figure out something. Something's going on. And you got Lieutenant Uhura, and we got, who else we have? Want to know who else we have? Yeoman Rand. Yeah. That's the power team right there. And you know who else we got? Pumpkin. There you go. That's the team. That's the squad. We gotta try and figure out what the heck is going on. And I thought about this question long and hard about what else I would, change about the original series. Yeoman Rand. She could have been in the entire original series for me, and I would have just been so happy for that, for her to have been here, like, in this capacity. But she wasn't, and it's something that I just gotta live with, because I absolutely enjoyed her. So overall, that's like the main thing. Being able to really see her take charge. Because I'm just sitting here like, y'all did the interracial kiss. Why couldn't she have taken over for an entire episode? Not half of one, the entire thing from beginning to end. That would have been really cool. So those are really the two main things. Her taking command and Yeoman Rand being there for way, way longer. So, all right, there we go. And we're going to get back into whatever part of the video is next, because I have to plug this in. Very quickly, we're going to get into the movies. So here we go. Y'all were in these comments talking about, girl, the even numbered films are better than the odd numbered films. I said, pump your brakes. Courtney is going to make her own decisions. And I'm going to watch all 6 of these films, and I'm going to come to my own conclusion. Here's the conclusion. Y'all were right. Y'all were correct. But I want to say something. I enjoyed every film. I did. But I wanted to, form my own opinion. I enjoyed every single film. I did. If I had to put them in order, that's very difficult, especially for the 2nd, 4th, and 6th film, because I'm just okay. Because originally I remember saying this, it's on the internet. I remember saying, after I saw the 4th film, The Wrath of Khan is number 1, and the 4th film, The Voyage Home, is in 2nd place. Then I saw the 6th film, and I said, well, dang on blast it. I don't know. They're all so good. At least those 3 are all very, very good. If I had to absolutely put them in order, we're going to go with The Wrath of Khan, because Khan, enough said. Do I have to reiterate? I don't think I need to. I'm actually going to switch the 4th film with the 6th. I'm going to go with The Undiscovered Country. I'm going to explain why. Loved The Voyage Home. I love that film. There's something about The Undiscovered Country that put that one slightly ahead of the 4th film, just slightly. And it's the fact that for me personally, just certain elements in it just stunned me to the point where I was like, whoa, this is some really good stuff. For example, the Klingons only having 50 years left, and then us trying to make peace with the Klingons. That in itself, I was just kind of like, okay, what the heck is happening? And then, oh gosh, Valeris. The nerve of some Vulcans. I was not expecting that, because you think to yourself, okay, Vulcans are very logical, but then again, I loved how it touched on, yes, they're logical, but they're not always on the side of good, because their particular logic could be different than Mr. Spock's logic or his father's logic. You would think it would make sense that we should work with the Klingons to bring peace. It would, and we move towards the future in a positive way. But then again, corruption can happen in anybody. So I'm glad that we touched on that. It was really nice. Another thing about it, the bird of prey being able to fire while cloaked. What the heck? That very cool. But I'm glad that we were able to put a stop to it. Because like I said, I remember saying this in my review, that would have been such a problem. So those are the reasons why it's slightly ahead of the Voyage Home. I love the Voyage Home. I thought the whales were cute. I love Dr. Jillian. I loved the fact that, we went back in time and we got to see how they interacted in with people like in the 80s, and it was really good. It's just the sixth film is slightly ahead for me. Now, here's the really, really hard part. The last three films. I've literally just been sitting here for the past 15, 20 seconds trying to figure out which, because I've been thinking about this for the past couple days, and it's just dang, man. You know what? We're just going to do it like this. Search for Spock, the motion picture, and then The Final Frontier. I can hear y'all now. Girl, see, we told you the fifth film is at the bottom. Hold on. Again, I actually enjoyed the fifth film. I did enjoy it. It's just the third film, because we ended up getting Spock back. The first film, I thought it was a good start to the films. I did. It's just some of the scenes were quite drawn out. That's just one of my criticisms with that particular film. Not that it's bad. It's just, okay, we were finding our footing. All right? We were finding our footing. And the fifth film didn't have a big issue with it. It's just the first and the fifth films really had a lot of elements that we've seen before with Star Trek. So what are we doing finding Eden again? I don't know. And Eden didn't even look like a paradise. I was really sad. I was like, where's the lush greenness? Where's the water? Why is it all rocky? Okay, fine, whatever. This video, I feel like, is long enough. So I probably overlooked a few things, but again, I'm just now getting into rewatching a few things here and there when I have the time. And tomorrow you guys are getting the first technically two episodes of The Next Generation. And I was asked over on Patreon if I'm going to, how many episodes at a time I'm going to do for The Next Generation. Because guys, this sucker is long. It's 7 seasons. But the plan, you know what? Whatever. If it changes, it changes. The plan is to give you guys multiple videos a week. I just don't know how many yet as of right now, because yeah. But definitely you guys are going to get the first 2 episodes tomorrow, because when I was on Paramount, it's kind of funny. I was on Paramount and I was like, okay, episode 1, episode 3, where's episode 2? So obviously Paramount combined them. You guys are going to get that tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm not going to, talk about how I felt about it in this video. So you're just going to have to wait. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Even though technically I've already recorded it. So you guys take care. I'm just being very silly in this video right now. I'll see y'all obviously in that video, and whichever videos y'all choose to watch from now until then. So take care. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see y'all later.